Hello, what's up guys? I'm Kyle from KGR, and this is the Revoltech Yusei Fudo. Now this is the normal version of the figure. I thought I ordered the exclusive one, but I checked my order number. No, I got the normal one, and now I'm mad at myself, because now I'm missing out on a few accessories. With the exclusive one, you got a junk synchron figure, you got an extra arm where it shows his thing glowing, and then a hand that also holds a glass of milk. There has to be a reason why I accidentally ordered the original. Maybe the exclusive one was out of stock at the time. I don't remember, but this is the one we have now, and I can't return it because I got it from Japan. So we're going to open it up, and we're going to compare it to some of the other figures. By the side, I have the Figma Yugi, the Vulcan Log Yugi, as well as the Revoltech Jaden that recently released. And in the near future, we're going to be doing unboxing videos of the Red Eyes Black Dragon and the Flame Wingman. And in the distant future, we're going to be doing videos on the Monster Arts Dark Magician and the Revoltech Yugi. And whenever Figure Arts releases their Yugi, I'll compare all three Yugis. And when Stardust Dragon comes out, I'm going to pair it with this guy. He's going to look really good. So if you like Yu-Gi-Oh figures, you might want to subscribe because I love these things. So looking at the box, we got the plain old Revoltech box that we got nowadays, where it's a boring gray, but with a good print of what the character itself looks like. Then we got some more stuff on the sides. We got some more poses right here, saying how it's from Yu-Gi-Oh 5D's. Then the back shows off all the different poses and all the different accessories. I don't know why Jaden would just be laying down like he's like laying in the meadows or something. I don't know. I like him dueling more personally. I don't know why he's jumping with his dual disc. He doesn't jump when he duels. I haven't seen a single thing of that. Unless I missed something, because I recently just rewatched the show. And it's all done now. So I'm confused. I don't know. But I was very excited for this as well as the Jaden to come out, because when Nendoroid announced that they were doing it, I'm like, well, I want proper scale figures. Now Revoltech's doing them, and I'm like, alright, fine. I wish it was another company, but okay. But enough of wasting your time, let's open this up. When I got the Revoltech Jaden, I thought he was alright, I guess. The Figma Yugi is probably one of my favorite figures in my collection, so I'm excited to see Figure Arts as well as Revoltech try to tackle it as well, but I don't think they're going to top Figma, to be quite honest. But let's open this box up and pull it out. What is this? That's instructions. We'll worry about that later. And let's pull it out, and oh, he's in a blanket. He's cold! I mean, it is January. It makes sense why he's so cold. He needs a blanket. So we see the extra faces, the figure itself, the base, which we're probably not even going to use. We have the thing for his dual disc, the dual disc itself, extra hands, and cards, and I'm excited to open this up. Let's check it out. So let's slide this open. Let's get him unwrapped, and oh, he just opens up like that. And there's no plastic bits like in between his joints either, which typically they do that, which I have no problem with. I see why they do it, you know, make sure there's no paint transfer when they're putting the pieces on. However, taking them off can be a pain sometimes. Sometimes they're not cut, so you actually gotta take the figure apart. So I'm happy to see that they didn't do that this time. I don't know why his kneecaps are looking like that. That looks a little strange. You can twist these, I think, but I don't know if it's because it's so cold that it doesn't want to change or what's going on with that. But here's a closer look at the figure himself. Honestly, his face application looks a lot better than I expected, because promo pictures always make it look good and then the final product doesn't always look that good, but he looks pretty decent. I like the way this looks. And trying to bend his torso, I was trying to see how easily it snaps, because I know the Jaden one snaps pretty easy, but at least that's on a ball peg. This is a square peg. What kind of choice is that? So it has to lock in a specific way. But we got it back on, so at least that's good. But I'm still trying to figure out how to fix these knees. Okay, so you can move the legs. It is a tight fit at first, but once you got it moving, then you're completely fine. But these knees, though, these Revoltech joints. I didn't mean for them to turn like that. But once they're back in place, they're okay. But if they accidentally get screwed up, then it's a bit annoying. And me just trying to do an ankle rocker is trying to split the joint in half already. Okay. Oh, Revoltech. Oh. That said, I know SH Figure Arts or Bandai or Tamashii Nations as a whole is doing regular Yu-Gi-Oh! GX as well as 5D's monsters, so it's almost guaranteed we're gonna get the duelists since they tease that they're doing Yugi. So that said, when Figuarts does the duelists, I will compare them to these Revoltech versions. And honestly, probably put these back in the basement or something like that, or maybe get rid of them. I'm not sure, because Revoltech fills the void for now, but they are definitely not my figure of choice. He definitely feels more movable compared to Jaden, because with Jaden, you can't even bend his elbows this much. And it looks like there's like multiple joints. Like, so it goes from shoulder to elbow to whatever is in here, I guess. I didn't know we had an extra joint in there. My arm can't do that. Oh, he fell apart again. But I like these extra phases, like him shouting and like him like being like swept by like a monster attack. I don't know. I like he has multiple deck boxes, but I don't see him trying out completely different types of decks. It just changes very little. So we're gonna try and peg that back in. I feel like that shouldn't be as easily poppable as it is. When it comes to this piece, this looks like it's a whole separate arm. So we gotta actually pry this arm open and like pull this out, take out the hand, and put this in and put the dual disc on. So we're gonna do that real quick. Okay, that pops out pretty easy. Same thing with that. Okay, not difficult. I appreciate that. So we're gonna slide that in. Perfect. We want this little circular thing to point upwards, because that's where the dual disc locks in, and then he falls apart. But we want him to hold some cards. So we're gonna put on this hand so he can hold some cards. Yeah! There is a part of me that wants to glue this in. But if I plan on getting rid of this, I can't do that. That'll kill the resale value. Every time I move this, he just falls apart. That is... Okay. Okay. Now, when it comes to his other hand, we want him to hold more cards. So we're going to have him... No. We'll have him do other stuff, I guess. But he has a split, like, I'm holding a singular card hand. So that's kind of neat. Okay. I know Yugi did that with the Figma, but it wasn't very good. The card falls out pretty easy. The amount of times I lost that card because it fell off the shelf, it was annoying. But let's take a closer look at this dual disc, because this thing looks so sweet. So he has a little thing so you can take out the field zone, which on paper, that's a cool idea. But when I was looking at pictures of this dual disc, I'm like, this thing looks so thick and like unnecessary. In person, it doesn't look that bad, but I still would have preferred if they would have made it just that bit thinner. So like, you can see the seam right here, like, because they have to like do the field card zone thing, okay? But imagine if they just shaved off that layer and had this printing right before that seam, so the dual disc could have looked thinner and just look a little bit more appealing. So I'm hoping that when Figuarts does theirs will look a whole lot better. But this look of the dual disc, I've always loved so much since its inception. And to this day, I still don't have that dual disc. And I'm kind of upset with myself, because why didn't I get that? Because it was a Japanese import thing. And at the time, I couldn't do it. But then when I learned how to Japanese import, the resale value went up like crazy. So with this, you can see that the deck slot is pretty empty, so they give you a deck of cards to put in there. But I never understood why they just didn't put it with the dual disc. I don't know, because Yugi's did, and it looks fine to me. I never really wished I could take the deck out, and I don't imagine him just holding a deck of cards. So, I mean, I guess it's better to have that option than to not on paper, but I just find it silly, personally. I'm just still upset that this thing just falls apart. So we're going to put this deck in, okay, and that just slides in like that. And then you still have room on the sides to grab it if you really need to, but personally, I'm never going to take it out. But at least it looks pretty nice. So then we got to slide this in, and then rotate it to lock in, and there he is. He is ready to duel. Yeah! Man, that dual disc is thick. But I'm really happy with the posability of him. Like, he's definitely a lot more posable compared to, like, any other Yu-Gi-Oh figure that I've had previously. Oh my goodness! They actually made a decent amount of detail in the cards that you hold in his hand, where it looks like it's different spells and different types of monsters and maybe a trap. Is that a ritual? No, that's just another spell. But it's cool. It's really neat. So we're gonna slip this in here. There's a little notch in the cards and in his hand to make sure it locks in place, but you don't feel a satisfying click from what I noticed. So just a matter of just hiding it, I guess, to make it look good. But let's do the simple card holding hand. And let's just pull out one simple card, and that's just blank. So we're gonna slip you in there somehow. Okay, it's a tight fit, but I'm happy that it's plastic and not actual cardboard because it would bend pretty easy. Because with the amazing Yamaguchi Aizawa from My Hero Academia, they gave him cardboard accessories that bent way too easy, and I'm like, why'd they do that? They never did it before, why would they do it now? But there's a look at Jaden when he's ready to duel, and he looks pretty sick. Yeah, now that the dual disc is on his arm, it does look a little thicker than I want it to be. Of course, trying to repose him. It just falls apart. That said, I'm not going to touch this figure very much. But honestly, I mean, I like the way he looks. He looks pretty fine. But looking at the prototype from the promo right here, and then looking at the final figure, you can see the painting on the eyes is like, the spacing's different, and the streakings on the hair don't look as good as a prototype, but that just happens. It's what you gotta do. But this is a Jaden figure that I've wanted for a very long time, and now I finally have it, and it looks fine. Just wish it didn't fall apart so easy. But it's pretty ironic to have a character like this, because if you've seen the show, you mostly see him duel on his duel runner. You don't see him do regular dueling like this too often. You see it, but not very often. So as happy as I am to have him like this, I wish there could have been an accessory that you could buy separately with him with his dual runner, as well as having an exclusive head with the helmet too. But I'm very surprised they haven't done that. But if SH Figuarts ends up doing that with like making him a figure, I could see them selling the dual runner separately. And if they do that, despite me having no room for it, I would still buy it anyway, because eventually I'll make room when I get a bigger place. Because I feel like that is not only half the character's gimmick, but half of the show's gimmick. No, it's like 3/4 of the show's gimmick. So I'm not going to knock out points for not having it. I just hope that if Figuarts does make a Yusei, which I'm pretty sure they will, but if they do, I will spend the extra, what, $60 to $100 for that dual runner. Yes, take my money. And then when it comes to this little accessory right here, this is for putting the dual disc onto anybody else that's like not a Yu-Gi-Oh character, but like you want another character in your collection to duel. I'm very happy they included that accessory. I'm not going to use it myself, but I'm happy that the foresight is there. When it comes to swapping out his faces, I guess you just take out his bangs. Perfect. And his face just flies off. I mean, it saved me a step, so cool. Looking at his blank face, it looks so silly. Look at that. But then we're gonna put that on, and he falls apart. We're gonna put his bangs back on. Then the card fell out. Okay, that feels more snug. I'm pretty sure the card's not gonna fly out anywhere. I wish I could say the same about his torso. So there's another face on him. The eyes look weird. The eyes I don't feel were printed on properly. Like, it looks like it's at weird angles, or it's like too close together. I can't put my finger on it, but like something's off. But yeah, for the most part, I'm pretty happy with how posable he is compared to Jaden. Like, this is a pretty decent figure. When you look at him from a side angle, like, he looks really good. Looking at him head on doesn't look as good, but like at angles, this does look really awesome, which is more than I can say than Jaden, because with his design in general, like, it only looks good at one angle. So for the animation, they have to change his hairstyle depending on what side he's on. While with an action figure, it's one angle and that's it. Which, speaking of, let's compare him to some of the other figures. So here he is next to Jaden, and I feel like the face on Jaden looks definitely a bit better. But the Revoltech figures don't look all that great, to be honest. With the Revoltech Jaden, it's tough to like that figure because it feels like a very cheap figure with its articulation and how things just look. It just doesn't look all that good. It doesn't feel like a premium, what, $70 to $80 figure. Now, if we compare it to the Figma Yugi, When I look at this and I see how this figure came out, what, 8 years ago more or less, it's crazy how well this figure shows its age. If age is like fine wine, to be quite honest. Look at the differences in thickness on the dual discs. And looking at what we can see from the promo pictures of the Revoltech Yugi, it's not going to hold a candle to this. Sure, you can like make the sleeves look all articulated and stuff like that, but that's not necessary. Like, this already looks good as it is. I'm happy to have other duelists as action figures, but they're not going to dethrone the Figma. However, not all Revoltech figures look that bad, because when you look at the Vulcan Log Yugi, which this is based off the movie, and this is still Revoltech, and this is very early Revoltech too. Just listen to those joints. Listen to how they click. Although this is based off like an older version of Revoltech stuff, this ages pretty well because it goes for its own style, and it looks so good. Like, I wanted a regular version of Yugi, as well as I just loved the art style of this figure, so this was very necessary for me. I think this looks so good. While we get modern day Revoltech, and it's just like, what happened? Again, at angles, he looks really good. Looking at him head on doesn't look all that great. The dual disc is way too thick. And normally when it comes to Revoltech figures, especially Amazing Yamaguchi, I'd heavily recommend waiting for another release of the figure that they can like fix any screw-ups they had with the first one. But that shouldn't be the standard that we should have for these figures, number one. And number two, I don't think they're doing another print of Yusei. So I say he's worth grabbing just to fill the void, but if SH Figuarts, it's not guaranteed they're going to make it, but there's a decent chance if SH Figuarts makes their own version of Yusei, it's going to definitely be superior to what this guy's going to be, which I'll do that comparison if that ever comes out. But I still stand strong that Figma did make the best looking Yugi figure they can make. Unless Figuarts does blow it out of the water, because Figuarts has been killing it a lot lately. Figma used to be like the cream of the crop, but not anymore. I don't know how Figma really fell off, but Figuarts has been raising up more and more, and it's becoming amazing. There's still some flops, but I don't like their Bleach figures' faces all that much, to be honest. But their Naruto line is like top tier. It's incredible. So if I were to give this guy a rating, I'd probably give him like a 7, I guess. I'm not going to lose sleep over the fact that I didn't get the Junk Synchron figure as well as the extra arm. But I couldn't imagine spending, what, $90 on this figure just for it to fall apart as easily as it does. But now I'm going to rearrange my Yu-Gi-Oh shelf that's shared with Pokemon because I want to have all three of the biggest duelists be next to each other. And I do plan on getting the Astral and Yuma, I think that's his name. Whoever's from Zexal. I remember watching that show when it first came out. So I'm excited to see how that one looks. I have a feeling that that one is actually going to look pretty cool. But this one, he looks fine, but it could look better. So if you did watch this video, I really appreciate it because most of my subscribers prefer Sonic stuff more than Yu-Gi-Oh! So I appreciate your viewership. You're really awesome. But I'm excited to open up more Yu-Gi-Oh! Figures in the future. And I just realized I could have had the backdrop of my my McDonald's Yu-Gi-Oh! Figures in the background. That would have been nice. I could have had this as the backdrop. It could have looked great. Maybe. But yeah, Yusei's fine. He's better than Jaden, but he's no Figma Yugi. At the end of the day, I am happy to have him, but I'm also really excited for the eventual much better figure down the line. But thank you for watching. If you're new and you like what you saw, you know what to do. In the description is going to be my social media, and I don't know, look forward to more Yu-Gi-Oh! Figures because I got plenty more coming in store. But thank you so much for watching. I love you guys to death, and I'll see you on the next one. So peace.